Hello fashion fans, welcome to another episode of Clothing Made Easy. I'm your host Tanner Kili Carslan, and I'm here to demystify the world of clothing manufacturing. Today's episode is actually called Stop, Don't Contact Manufacturers Yet. Now this is one of those what the fashion moments for us, because we have brands that contact us, brands is a loose term at the moment. They contact us and they're looking for manufacturers to make clothing, but they don't have a strategy, a plan, or clothing that they want to manufacture. So today we're going to cover the topics of when to contact manufacturers and what to say when you do. So let's get started. So one of the most difficult things for clothing manufacturers is when we receive inquiries from brands, they don't have a strategy or a plan, and we kind of think to ourselves, well, why are you contacting manufacturers? One of the first questions we want you to ask yourself before you even go online, look for manufacturers, or pick up the phone is, are you a hobby or are you a business? Now, if you're a hobby, then you're probably just looking for a tailor and not a manufacturer. You're probably going to make one or two styles of garments, just maybe even one or two pieces, give it out to friends, maybe even sell it at a local market. But you're definitely not going to be contacting large-scale manufacturers because we're looking for businesses, not hobbyists. So whatever country you're in, first and foremost, you must understand that as a business, you need to register your business. We are a company. We're looking to work with companies. Are you a company yet? If you're not a company, what are the legal frameworks in your country? Should you be contacting a corporate lawyer? Should you be contacting lawyers in general? Perhaps just do a little bit of research, find out what it means to become a business in your country, and then start the registration process. So register as a business. That's the step number one when you're considering becoming a fashion brand of your own. Now the thing is that when you enter the clothing manufacturing industry, what you may not realize is you're not a fashion designer unless you've gone to school to become a fashion designer. You're basically a business owner in what's known as the supply chain industry. Why the supply chain industry? Well, think of it like this. We're a clothing manufacturer. We've got fabrics coming in and thread coming in and dyeing to do and printing to do and shipping companies to deal with and all manner of different processes within the supply chain. You yourself as the fashion brand owner are actually also managing the supply chain, meaning that you've got to deal with your manufacturer, the shipping companies, get your website ready, who's going to ship your products to you, labels, tags, where is it all coming from? You're going to need to know all that. So actually, as a brand owner, you are in the supply chain industry. So just remember that you are a fashion brand owner in the supply chain industry, meaning you are managing a supply chain. Now, luckily, there are manufacturers in the world like us who actually manage the entire end-to-end process for you, especially from design and sourcing and manufacturing and quality control and all that stuff that you need to think about, but you should at least be aware of what all this is. So question number one, are you a hobby or are you a business? And do you realize that first you should register and realize that you're actually in the supply chain industry? Now the second thing you need to be aware of is that manufacturers also exist in the world. So you need to understand what manufacturers want too. Now, most manufacturers are formal businesses and we have different departments. We've got standard operating procedures. We've got design departments. We've got supply chain departments, management departments, marketing departments. We've got water coolers. We've got coffee machines. I do make actually the best coffee in the office, don't I?
You sure do.
However, now with that said, manufacturers, being businesses, are also looking for business interactions. We want to have business conversations. We want to be able to talk to business people in a business way. So manufacturers are interested in business relationships that are long-term. So you have to be able to show that you have a long-term vision, a long-term plan, a long-term strategy in place. Because you've got to ask yourself, you're about to approach a large-scale company that's producing hundreds of thousands of pieces per month, and all of a sudden you're showing up, you don't have a strategy, you don't have a plan, you're not even sure what kind of clothing you're looking to make, and all of a sudden you want the manufacturer to somehow want to work with you. Don't forget, it's business relationships. It's two-sided. You've got what you want, but there's also what the manufacturers want. So it's really important that you understand what manufacturers want as well. You don't want that the manufacturer thinks you're some sort of fly-by-night, just going to show up, do a couple of garments and then disappear, because that does not really instill confidence from the manufacturer's side. So remember to always ensure that you've got your business plan, your strategy, you've got your clothing lined up, etc., and you're ready to have that business-to-business conversation. Now, topic number 3 is you have to learn how to approach manufacturers. You've got to keep in mind that, you're a business, a proper business, so you got to get a proper business email address. I mean, we get this all the time. We get clients emailing us from dude5648@hotmail.com. embroidery.com, and that just totally sucks, you know, and you have to be professional, but there's nothing that screams I'm unprofessional like a person that just has no plan, no strategy, no business email, no business presence whatsoever, and you're basically just coming out of nowhere. We especially love it, actually, it's kind of really weird, but when people actually copy pasta those emails, so it's like, hi, I'm looking for some factory, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. What we end up getting is some other factory's name in an email to us. We are cmgarmindo. We're not whatever factory that you're emailing. So it's a little bit unprofessional. Imagine if your name is, you know, Denise, and I emailed you and said, hey, Bob, I'm looking for this. You'd think that I wasn't even interacting with you. So you've got to be really conscious of the fact that you're emailing businesses. You should do a little bit of research on them. You should know how to approach them. And this is one of those things that just kind of wants, well, I'm in client services, so I really want to pull my hair out, but I don't want to pull my hair out, but all these inquiries are making me pull my hair out. What we really want is get yourself organized, get all the work together, get all your organization and research, etc. done before you contact a manufacturer. Now, in another episode, we're going to be talking about customer profiles and the customer journey. There's going to be a journey map. So we'll let you know what those look like, etc. But for now, let's just get the basics figured out, okay? And finally, we're going to be talking about how to search for manufacturers. Now, this is really important. Once you sit down in front of your computer, iPad, whatever it is that you've got, you're going to be conducting a search, but you may not be aware that you're going to come across millions and millions of results. How do you know the difference? Now, in a recent blog post that we wrote on the cmgarmindo website, we discussed the difference between formal businesses, informal businesses, ethical, unethical, and fair trade factories. It's really important that you know the difference between what they are. And what we're going to be doing is, there's a link at the bottom of this post. Just have a click, have a read, learn the difference. Now, what you want to do is you want to stay away from unethical and informal businesses. So in the previous episode, I actually mentioned how you're going to be localizing your search and you're looking for fair trade or ethical manufacturer, but that's a little bit too broad. So what you're going to want to do is localize it, and I'll actually show you how to do this. So let's say, for example, you're looking for children's clothing manufacturer, right? For example. So what you're going to want to do is ask yourself, what region of the world do you want to manufacture in? So here we are in Indonesia. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in Indonesia and then children's clothing manufacturer. Now that's still pretty good. It's a little bit broad, because how do you define ethics? I mean, how do you find a good ethical or fair trade manufacturer? So you've got to plug that in there. So it's going to be Indonesia, fair trade or ethical children's clothing manufacturer. Now that is a much more specific search term for the right type of manufacturing you're looking for. Otherwise, it's too broad. You're going to get all these other companies that you don't want to work with. Plus, at the same time, being a children's clothing manufacturer ourselves, we're looking for clients who are looking to make children's clothing. So at the same time, you know, you can imagine we're getting inquiries from clients looking to try to make equestrian clothing. Well, we don't make clothing for equestrian. So that doesn't really make sense, yet clients still show up with that. That's because they haven't done their research, but at the same time, they're looking for the wrong keywords. So Indonesia, fair trade or ethical children's clothing manufacturer, and boom, you're going to get the right type of result, which speeds up your research process and it aligns you with the correct type of manufacturers that you want to talk to. Okay, I totally understand. You just want to grind it out. You want to get that business started, but don't jump the gun. What we're really trying to tell you in this episode is get your plan, get your strategy, get your business figured out and registered. You want to be a legal entity before you call other legal entities. And then also understand what kind of clothing you're looking to manufacture. There's nothing that screams, I'm a noob, actually, when a client contacts us with no plan, no strategy, no clothing. We're also going to have questions for you. So remember how you're supposed to talk to manufacturers, be a business, talk like a business, because we're a business. And also understand what it is that we're looking for from you. We're looking for brands that actually have their strategy in play. Finally, learn how to search Google for the right type of manufacturers. Always include keywords localized to the country, the word ethical or fair trade, and then specific to what you're making, like, for example, children's wear manufacturer. And that will help you save time and also make sure that you're aligned in finding the right partners. Don't forget to like and subscribe via the button below. Also, there's a couple of links at the bottom of this post taking you to blog posts and more resources. Thanks again for watching Clothing Made Easy. I'm your host, Tanner Kili Karslan, and would love to see you next time.